Hi, my name is Aaron Linsdau. I'm a polar explorer and motivational speaker. It's review day! Today I'm going to review the Western Mountaineering MegaLite sleeping bag. Is this possibly the best summer sleeping bag out there? Let's find out. Western Mountaineering MegaLite sleeping bag. There are a literal ton of options for sleeping bags for your expedition and your hiking, your backpacking, your camping, or even, like if you're touring Europe, you've got a ton of options. Why do I choose the Western Mountaineering sleeping bag? Simply because I believe it's the best sleeping bag out there. The only one that's probably comparable is Feathered Friends, and Western Mountaineering has a couple other nice features the others don't have. By the way, I don't receive any financial compensation or free sleeping bags for these reviews from Western Mountaineering or anybody else. So this is just the straight up deal of these are the products I use, here's why I like them, and that way you can decide, because these things definitely aren't cheap. Check out the links below, hit the little arrow right below the video to the right, and it'll expand out the links. I've got the links to this sleeping bag and a few other things that I'm going to talk about in this video. Also, if you can just take a second and hit that subscribe button, and you can receive the updates on travel, product reviews, and motivation that I present. So why do I like this Western Mountaineering MegaLite sleeping bag? I'll call it the bag. It's simply because I've used this thing for pushing like 20 years. I mean, it's literally incredible. And as you can see, it actually is still quite fluffy. I mean, you look all the way across the bag and this thing still airs up without a trouble after 20 years. Now, mind you, I've laundered it quite a bit, and I've used downproofing from Nix Wax, which I'll put a review in the bottom. Actually, I need to make a note of that. And so one of the things that you have two choices is sleeping bags. You have synthetic fill, which is holofill, qualifill, any of the synthetic fibers, and they're the exotic ones for Arctic travel, or you have down. Now, down sleeping bags offer the best warmth to weight ratio, period, of any sleeping bag. It's just the reality. I mean, they're literally incredible for the size that I'm going to show you that this bag packs down to. But the one major factor you have to consider is that if your down sleeping bag gets wet, you're in trouble, because the one Achilles heel, you will, of down is that when it gets wet, it clumps together and it completely loses its warmth ability. Now compare that to wool and other fibers. Wool, wet, warm, cool, cold, dry, doesn't matter. Wool works great. But there is no such thing as, well, maybe there is. Maybe there is a wool sleeping bag. I probably just haven't seen it. But in all practicality, down is still the best. As far as I know, Western Mountaineering still gets their down from Northern European geese or some such crazy thing. Apparently they have this total edge on the market for goose down, and theirs is still the best. I mean, it's sold by Mountain Tools. Larry over at Mountain Tools, he's sold me these bags, or you can buy them at the links below or at your local store. So the reason I like this bag is a couple reasons. It actually has the ability to adjust the temperature because of the baffle design on it. In the link below, you can check out how this thing is designed, but you can actually shift the feathers whether the bag is too warm or too cool, just based on the design, which is really nice. But also just because it packs down really small. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you here the zipper style that they use, and they have this little Velcro deal attached here, and it's kind of cutting off my head here, but this has a bi-directional zipper. It's got a basic zipper pull on here, and you can pull this zipper all the way down on this what's called a mummy style sleeping bag. And you might notice, I'll line it up like this, it kind of looks like a mummy sarcophagus. Now this mummy design is far more efficient than traditional rectangular bags because it's lighter, it keeps the warmth where you need it, and it doesn't have any wasted space. One of the nice things about these Western Mountaineering bags is even if you're a pretty sizable person, I'm pretty thin, but even if you're a pretty sizable person, they totally work. One of the things also about these sleeping bags is that you don't want to sleep with a huge pile of clothes on unless it's like extreme conditions. Because what happens is the down or the loft gets compressed, and when you compress that down or loft, that's when you get cold spots. So typically when I'm sleeping in my bag, after a long day, I'll just have some super thin long underwear, a change into a synthetic t-shirt, and maybe a long sleeve. It's cold, and that's it. I don't go in my jacket or anything else, simply because that actually makes the bag colder. I know it's totally counterintuitive, but when you squish that down or you push up against it, you lose a lot of warmth. So that's something people say almost sleep naked in a sleeping bag. That's a little weird to me, but you know, whatever works for you. So one of the things that I'm 6 feet tall, and this is a 6'6" sleeping bag. When you click the link below to this bag on Amazon, you'll see various zipper sides and lengths. Whether you're a right side zip person or a left side zip person, that's totally up to you. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, I'm going to get into this bag. My foot's going to be right about here. And I'm going to get into this bag, and you'll see it actually has a double zipper option here where I can zip this up or I can unzip to make it a little bit cooler. Theoretically, the same length sleeping bags, the left and right zip, you can put together, so that's actually pretty handy. So I'm going to zip this all the way down, and I'm going to get in the bag and squish myself in and show you exactly what it looks like when I'm in the bag. Now to you, this probably looks like I'm a purple slug. Sorry for the microphone noise here. And one trick I found is when I zip the sleeping bag, actually I tend to zip it from the outside. For some reason that actually makes it easier. Now you can see here, I'll wriggle around, that with 6 feet, my head is still totally here, and I've got room. If you're even close to 6 feet, probably, I think the other bag is 5'6". Anything, if you're taller than 5'6", trust me, get the longer bag because you can pull it up and kind of wrap it around your head. This particular sleeping bag design, it's got a single drawstring on the opposite side of the zipper, and you can totally draw this to where you can only see your mouth. Now I'm already starting to get warm. It's probably about 65 degrees in the room, and I'm not quite sweating, but it's super toasty. Now if you're claustrophobic, it's going to be hard to get to getting used to professional sleeping bags. And I'm not claustrophobic, but every so often I'll wake up in the middle of the night like dreaming I'm being attacked by a mountain lion. It's actually pretty entertaining. So this sleeping bag fits incredibly well. You can see just how well that fits. You can see all this down here. I mean, I'm starting to get too hot for me. So even though this bag is rated at 30 degrees, I am like dying already. And you can see how this wraps around my head. I've got plenty of down here, like a hood, so if it's too hot and I'm camping, I can unzip this and just use it as a quilt. It's really, really nice. So let me get out of here before I pass out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, and you can see the little down puff here. One of the keys is if you get one of the little pieces of down starting to pop out, what you do is you reach from the side, the opposite side, you can see that, and what I do is I grab and I pinch and I begin pulling, and you can suck that very expensive down back into your sleeping bag. Like magic? Maybe not. And you'll notice each of these bags is tagged. It is made in the USA, which is really nice. It's got the goose down minimum, 90% down. This bag is not full of feathers, so you don't get the quill stabbing in your face thing. I've never had that happen with any of my Western mountaineering sleeping bags. Also, one of the things on this bag is they put a stiff tape here, and what that does is as you zip up the bag, it's much less likely for the bag to snag into the zipper. That's one of the things about a lot of sleeping bags is they don't have this extra stiff tape here, and you zip up the bag and it snags and it just drives you freaking nuts. So that's also one of the reasons I actually pull my arm and use the outside zip, is the outside does not have the stiffener tape. It really doesn't need it. The inside does because of the snagging risk. So all I do is I actually just zip from the outside, and I've never had it snag. And you'll see this little zipper here, and it comes with this nice little Velcro closure. And you also see what's a really nice feature of these sleeping bags is what's called the baffle. And this baffle prevents cold from sucking through the zipper. That's a major feature of high quality sleeping bags. Even if you don't get this bag and you get a Feathered Friends or a North Face or Big Agnes or whatever, if you want a really good quality sleeping bag, look for this baffle. It's a huge factor. So how much does a sleeping bag weigh for this temperature rating? Well, I've got my handy dandy scale here. This is going to be kind of a long review, but what I'm going to do is, this is my Sea to Summit silicone nylon bag. This is an 8-liter bag, and this huge sleeping bag compresses into this little sack. So I'm actually going to do that for you, and I'm going to show you that this particular bag is very easy to mush. You do not need a compression sack at all. And you're just going to begin jamming this thing in here. Now, one of the things is people ask, how long should I leave it in the compression sack? As little time as possible, because over time, as you leave a sleeping bag inside the compression sack, this down very slowly breaks down. So anytime I'm on a trip and like more than 3 days, I'll make sure just to open up my sleeping bag just so the down isn't crushed and permanently damaged. Does that mean totally freak out about it? No, not at all. So you can see that I have squashed this huge sleeping bag into this little 8-liter bag with plenty of space to spare. Boom. Just like that, easily fits into a large day pack. So I'm going to see how much this thing weighs. The stuff sack weighs about 1.5 ounces. The entire sleeping bag weighs 1 pound and 9 ounces. Now, this 1 pound and 9 ounces takes me, like at 30 degrees, I'm totally warm in this bag. I have no trouble to freezing. In the Sierras, one time I got caught out, the temperature dropped a lot. It got down to about 5 degrees at night. It was pretty chilly. I survived. No frostbite or anything. So you can see just how small that packs down. So the last thing I'm going to do is show you, when I unpack this guy, how long it takes to expand out. There, one of the tricks too is I always put the foot into the sleeping bag first. That way all the air pushes out and it's easier to squash it into the compression sack. And also, by the way, Western Mountaineering sends a laundry bag for this sleeping bag that's right sized. So definitely recommend do not get rid of this bag when you store your sleeping bag. The second best way is just to put it in this big old laundry sack. That way the down isn't crushed. But the best way to store your sleeping bag is actually to lay it out under your bed or in a closet or somewhere. Don't leave it anywhere damp or dank, because that moisture will get in there and it will mildew. So that's an issue there. But what the heck was the last thing I was going to say about these things? I don't remember. Oh well. So yeah, it must have not been that important. So the down compression thing, yeah, that's what I was going to say, is just leave this guy out. Let it totally expand out. Oh, that's what I'm talking about. How do you change the down? You say, how can I move the feathers from the back of the sleeping bag to the front? Well, this particular bag, if you look at the diagram in Western Mountaineering, the baffles or the down actually wrap all the way around. So if the bag is, say, too chilly, you can actually unzip the bag, take it and hold it on the back and start whipping it, and that will actually thrust the down feathers onto the chest area. And now it is, whoa, way thicker on the chest area. Probably added another ½ inch. That doesn't sound like much, but that is a huge differentiation. So now I've warmed up this bag a lot. If I'm hiking in the Sierras or the Rockies, it's summer, and it's really warm, like I'm waking up sweating, I can actually take the front of the bag, keep whipping it for a bit, and then we'll actually drive the feathers into the back of the bag that you are sleeping on. And now you can see it's much thinner up front. I mean, there's almost nothing in there. It's no big deal because it's plenty warm. And once I'm laying on the down in the back of the bag, see the difference there? It's a huge difference. So this bag has the versatility if you're like, I've been hiking and it's normally summer, but I'm above 10,000 feet and I'm going to freeze my keister off tonight. I just simply whip as much down as I can possibly get. Just keep going like crazy till it gets all over your chest, and then voila, you're much warmer. So the Ultralight series of the Western Mountaineering sleeping bags with the continuous baffle system have that ability. I sleep super warm. Like, the only thing that really ever freezes is my feet, and that's, I don't know why, but just the way it works. So if you sleep colder, I'm going to put a link to the Ultralight bag, which is the next step up from the MegaLite, and that has a continuous baffle plus 2 pouches of down. Or I think the Versalite is their warmest in their Ultralight series. My dad ended up getting that sleeping bag because he sleeps kind of cold. Just everybody's physiology is different. Men sleep different than women, and even in between the genders, some sleep warmer than the others. So it's just a thing of physiology. It doesn't matter, you know, whatever person you are, but it's just a thing to consider. If you know you sleep warm, then this will take you almost to really 3 seasons. Anytime I can use this bag, I definitely do. Not in snow, but anytime where I know it's not snow or it's not going to get super cold, like 5 degrees, maybe 10 degrees, I would step up on my bag. So the Western Mountaineering sleeping bag, highly recommended. I've used mine for a long time. Get the Nixed Wax Down wash. Keep your bag clean, and this thing will last, I wouldn't say forever, but a long, long time. Do note that the fabric is thin, so you don't want to snag, and like I read one guy's review, the fabric tore out and it was so easy. No way, dude. I've snagged this fabric a ton of times, and if you're just gentle and you just very carefully pull it, I mean, it's not like ballistic cordure. It's just not. So if like all equipment, if you're just gentle with it, like see I snagged a little bit here, no big deal. Let me show you there. I snagged it and it just pulls right out. So if you're gentle with the bag, and it's not to say that, oh, this is weak at all, but like all things, if you treat your gear well and nice, it'll last you a long, long time. And I'm cruising on 20 years with this sleeping bag. Still great as the day I bought it. Highly recommended. Check out the links below. My name is Aaron Linsdau. I'm a polar explorer and motivational speaker. Please like and comment on my video. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the little arrow below the video and you can see all the links below to the products I've talked about. Please support my channel on Venmo, PayPal, and Patreon. Thank you very much for watching.